Hello and welcome to my mini lecture. My topic today will be communication principles of a lifetime. There are five principles that I'll be discussing, and these principles operate together rather than independently to form the basis of the fundamental process that enhance communication effectiveness. But before I begin, I would like to first discuss communication. Communication is the process of acting on information. Human communication is the process of making sense of the world and sharing that sense with others by creating meaning through verbal and nonverbal messages. The first principle is be aware of your communication with yourself and others. Be aware of what you say to others because what you say and do now you might later regret. By knowing who you are, self concept, self worth, and your perception of yourself and others can determine your communication style. Competent communicators are aware of the choices they make when they communicate. Being aware of our communication is the foundation principle because all of the choices we make when we are communicating rest on our ability to make conscious choices when we respond to others. The second principle is effectively use and interpret verbal messages. Verbal messages are created with language, and language consists of symbols and a system of rules that make it possible for people to understand one another. These symbols may be in the form of a word, sound, gesture, or other visual signals that represents a thought, concept, object, or experience. When we read words in a book, we are looking at a symbol that trigger the meaning. Our reading skill permits us to make sense out of symbols. Different cultures have different symbols, but the concept is the same. They interpret symbols to meaning. The third principle is effectively use and interpret nonverbal messages. Nonverbal communication is communication by means other than written or spoken language that creates meaning for someone. Nonverbal messages can communicate powerful ideas or express emotion with greater impact than mere words alone. But not all nonverbal messages are clearly interpreted. Cultural differences, eye contact, facial expression, gestures, and postures all play a role in the misinterpretation. To be an effective communicator, we must be able to interpret nonverbal messages. The fourth principle is listen and respond thoughtfully to others. Communication is a transactional process, meaning that both sender and receiver are mutually responding to symbols. This takes both sender and receiver to listen and interpret these messages. During this process of listening, there are barriers of effective listening, such as yourself, perception, and noise. Responding thoughtfully will be based on your interpretation of nonverbal cues and how you interpret the message that was sent. To be an effective communicator, you have to develop an orientation or sensitivity to others when you listen and respond. The fifth principle is appropriately adapt messages to others. It is not enough to be sensitive and to accurately understand others. You must use the information you gather to modify the message you construct. You must adjust what is communicated and how a message is communicated by making choices about how to best formulate a message and respond to achieve your message. And basically, that concludes my mini lecture. Thank you.